Welcome to this Skillbuilder about Stakeholder Overview. In the Why section, you will learn about the relevance of this document and how you get most benefit out of using this document. In the How section, you'll learn how to operate it. The Stakeholder Overview is one of our very central elements. And it is so because it has a close relation to the definition of innovation. Innovation is the beneficial utilization of knowledge and creativity in order to discover and realize what does not yet exist. The little word beneficial relates to that you have decided for whom you want to do something special. And that leads us to the first of the two central questions. Who will you do something special for? The next central question is, what would they and the world be missing if your company and your project did not exist? The answer to this second question is your mission. And the Stakeholder Overview is a very important part of the way of arriving at answers to these two central questions and in being able to argue in a detailed way about the answers to these two questions. The Stakeholder Overview is applied throughout the whole innovation pathway. And the first version made of the Stakeholder Overview actually is a supplement to any additional Stakeholder Overviews that are made in sub-projects or in the realization projects. Let's take a closer look at the document and the elements in the document. Here is the yellow sticker versions where the central yellow sticker is where you can state the focus area. Could be the business or the business area or the theme of your project. And here is the mission. You can state the mission. Each of the stickers around is for each stakeholder. And there you can state the role and the interest of each stakeholder. In addition to the yellow sticker version, there is also a presentation version of this document. And that's in order to allow you to place illustrations, photos, or video clips together with statements about the role and interest of each of the stakeholders. So in this way, you can have a more informative version of the Stakeholder Overview. Now, the Stakeholder Overview captures the interest forces that you have of impact your project. And those forces can impact you both positively and negatively. And we will take a closer look at the concept of having stakeholders. Stakeholders are not only customers and end users. We take a much broader view. And this is to illustrate what this broad view means. Beyond customers, end users, you could look at project sponsors, partners, suppliers, internal enemies, professionals and colleagues, industry associations, media, and authorities. We will take a closer look at each of these. Starting with the customers and end users, these are very important for your innovation projects. So get close to them. Get close to them and involve them. That is your best way of getting insight. Go and meet them to understand their needs and challenges, to understand and make field observations, interviews. Capture it in pictures, video clips, in any way you can capture their statements or views and opinions. All of this will work as a motivator for you and your team, and certainly also your steering committee. So this is important. Looking further around, the sponsors. Who are the ones funding and contributing to your project? Internally or externally? Externally could be partners, suppliers, professionals, and colleagues. Get to understand what drives their interest in this project and their will to contribute. And what type of contributions would they be able to make? This is very important, and it will help you understand what really motivates them and how you can maintain their interest and will to contribute to your project. You should be aware that your innovation project may not only have friends, it could also have enemies, and those enemies could be very close internally, because some may ask, why is your project more relevant than ours? Or if your project succeeds, does that mean that it's going to make ours obsolete? Or will it later be necessary to opt out of one of the other projects? That kind of questions is going to be raised by those who fear that your project is a threat to their projects. And it is important to be aware where you have your enemies or potential enemies, and it will enable you to prepare in the best way moving forward. Looking externally, there could be industry association authorities that you have to be aware of. It could be from a point of view regarding permissions. Maybe you're working with an innovation that is within a standard, or that your innovation is going to form the basis for a new standard. And you have to be aware how your project is in relation to these stakeholders. Additionally, media. Be aware if there is something about your project that could attract the attention of media. It could be both from a positive or a negative point of view. You should be aware if there is something in your project that attracts this attention in a way that you could benefit from that attention, or if you have to protect yourself and your project against interest from media. So in this way, we have been around the stakeholder overview with different titles to different potential stakeholders that you could consider. But the document is completely open for you to add any stakeholder you would like to have in your stakeholder overview. When gathering information for the stakeholder overview, then we have an additional document that can help you. It is called Stakeholder Information Search, and it will help you focus the search for information on specific stakeholders. Here you'll take one stakeholder and bring into the Stakeholder Information Search document, which means that you will put attention to that specific stakeholder with some information search questions, like what do we know about this stakeholder, what are their needs, which are unarticulated needs. And that means in this document there will be place for the information search questions and for the information to be gathered. And this document can be applied in meetings or information gathering sessions, or it could be sent directly to the resource persons who you would like to contribute with information. Now, the stakeholder overview is important on its own, but it is closely related to the creation also of the innovation tree. And that is why we have placed these two in the same document called Stakeholders and Innovation Tree. Here we continue with the How section, where you will learn how to operate this file.
The stakeholder overview is in a PowerPoint file, and it shares this PowerPoint file with the innovation tree. And the reason for that is that the stakeholder overview contributes to building the innovation tree. Now, the stakeholder overview is placed in page 1 and 2 in the combined file, which is named Stakeholders and Innovation Tree. On the first page is the version with the yellow stickers, and the yellow stickers are ready for you to be filled in. You just click and fill in, and you can adjust the size of the stickers and the font within the stickers so it all matches exactly what you would like it to be for your project. You can also add additional stakeholders. They are placed in the upper right corner for your convenience. Now, the second version of the presentation of the Stakeholder Overview is more of a dressed up type. Here, you can add visualizations, could be photos or diagrams. You have to click on these frames and then right click, and then you can choose the filling, which could be a picture or it could be video clips, in order to underline any message you have regarding each of your stakeholders. The way that the Stakeholder Overview is used in building the innovation tree can be found in the Skillbuilder for Innovation Tree, especially in the How section.
And this concludes your Skillbuilder on Stakeholder Overview.